Hey guys, Clumzzy here, and in this video, I'll be telling you how to go from a creative beast to a strong arena player. Like always, make sure to use code Clumzzy in the item shop. It's the #1 best way to support me, and if this video helps you out, please consider subscribing. First of all, it is important to understand the difference between creative and arena. Why do you think you play so much better in creative than arena? And there are many factors. First of all, in creative, you will most likely have lower ping and less input delay, thus resulting in smoother builds and an overall better experience, making you feel better, so you just feel like everything is easier in creative. In game, your ping and the input delay will be higher than creative, so if you spend a lot of time in creative, you might not be used to how everything works in game. That doesn't mean don't warm up. You should always warm up in creative, but don't overdo it. If you're playing more creative than arena, then that's probably a big sign to why you play worse during a real game. You don't have as much experience. Another big factor to take note of is pressure. When you are playing creative and practicing and doing all this mechanically challenging move, 1v1s, zone wars, box fights, whatever you are doing, there's no pressure on you. In a real game, however, there can be third parties, there are points on the line, you're trying to climb up the divisions. Not everything will just be nice and simple. You will have more pressure on you during a real game since you can't just respawn like you do in creative. You must win or else you die and it's over and you're on to your next game. Thirdly, in creative, everything is already there. If you spawn with mats and loot and you just go straight into fighting, there is no RNG. In an arena game or just any normal mode besides creative, you won't have anything at the start. You need to have a good landing, a good loot path. You need to know how to fight in early game with bad loot. If you're in creative all the time using a gold pump, then how do you expect to win when you never use any other weapon? There's so many things to consider in a game. Game sense, rotations, third parties like I mentioned before. You don't have infinite mats. You can't just crank 10 high ground retakes like you do in creative. You'll run out and simply die. You have to use your mats wisely and fight smart. Also, your frames will most likely be lower. Things won't be as smooth. You're in a different environment. You're not on a zero ping, no delay map with all black background to reduce lag. So all of these things I mentioned, it's very important to consider and are definitely a big reason to why you find yourself doing good in creative, but not in arena. So what should you do? How do you transfer what you practiced in creative into arena? And I got you 3 amazing tips and I will go through it with detail so you can understand everything. When you hop into creative, okay? So the first tip here is make sure you are getting realistic practice. When you hop in creative, what are you training? Are you making sure to work on your weaknesses? Are you using the right weapons? There's no reason to use the pump shotgun. It's no longer in the game. You should probably practice using the striker shotgun and the new combat SMG. Also, don't fight using infinite mats unless you are just warming up, and also make sure your warm up isn't more than an hour. Spend 5-10 minutes warming up your builds, then another 5-10 minutes on your aim. You can practice other things too, like piece control and do a couple of 1v1s, but make sure you aren't spending the majority of your time in creative because you will never improve in the real game that way. I spend max 30 minutes in creative, then I go into arena for like 2 to 3 hours. If you find yourself struggling winning fights in the early game, go into realistic 1v1s and vote for the early game weapons. Get used to fighting with limited materials, bad loot, no shields, because you will for sure find yourself in these situations in game. Also, practice moves and drills that you can actually pull off in game. When are you gonna find yourself doing those insane high ground retakes that burn up 300 mats? It's not realistic and most of the time you won't need to use it. My second tip for you guys is to change your mindset when playing arena. When in creative, you don't really care, right? Just go in, W key, do dumb plays, whatever, because you will just respawn. Well, yeah, that's the problem. When you are playing arena, you actually have to think when you are fighting. Think about the edits you are making, the next play, and what are you going to do. You will have to make all kinds of decisions, and if you just play like how you play in creative, then you will most likely, you're not going to do very well. I know this from experience. When I play creative, I just play super aggressive and I don't really use my mind. There's nothing really on the line, what's there to lose, and when you play like that, you can't really improve. For my third and final tip, this might seem obvious, but really listen to what I'm about to say. Play more arena, and here's why. How do you expect yourself to be comfortable and used to the input delay and everything else that comes with it if you're not spending time doing it? The more you play arena, the better you'll be. You'll be used to the ping, to the delay, the environment, the weapons. The more times you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, the more confident you'll be. Think of it like math. Teachers always say, oh, the more you practice, the better you'll be. And that applies to almost anything in life, so it's not just a Fortnite tip. And if you find that you are stressing or shaking during a game, like let's say someone pushes you and you instantly start panicking and shaking, you don't know what to do, then that's a sign that you lack experience, and the more you do it, the less nervous you'll be the next time in that situation. When I used to play arena like 2 years ago, and I'm not kidding, I would actually be scared to fight other players because I was not confident in my skill. But now, I'll just go for it and then learn from my mistakes. It's how you'll improve in Fortnite and anything in life. Another reason to why you should play more arena is because a lot of the people you play against in creative will most likely not be as good as the opponents you actually face in game. So when you keep destroying kids in creative to make you feel good and all, you go into arena and straight up get wrecked because you're not used to playing against good players. So make sure you are practicing on good opponents. If you know some friends who are cracked, then 1v1 them. You can also go into Scrim Discords and DM people who are seriously looking to improve. That's the best practice. I hope I was able to help you guys out in this video. Don't forget to join my Discord server. I'm trying to build an active community so everyone can find others to play with. You can leave suggestions there, and also if you use my code Clumzzy and purchase something, you can send picture proof in the Discord and I'll shout you out at the end of the next video. And even if you have like a YouTube channel or something, I'll put the link in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.